They're now 500. They've won 4 in a row. They're winning a lot of games. Tonight they beat the Toronto Raptors. Let's talk about it. It's the Hoops Nerd Show. All right, guys, let's get into this. But before we do, let's just give a shout out to Prize Picks, the sponsor of the show. Prize Picks, where you can pick the overs and unders. If you go to prizepicks.com right now, they will match up to $100 if you use promo code HoopsNerd. You have to use promo code HoopsNerd, though. Go use that. You will have fun. It's a blast. I will tell you what, it's a little hard with the Jazz because they have so many lineups. Their coach is so good, and they blow teams out that they have to rest guys. So maybe you want to pick the under on a lot of different things. But anyways, go to prizepicks.com. Use promo code HoopsNerd. You won't regret it. All right, guys, let's bring this down, and let's talk about the Jazz. Let's talk about the Jazz. I don't know how many times I've done this show, and I struggle to find that button every time. All right, let's see. So, the Toronto Raptors are coming off of a trade, although early January, they're kind of settling in. They've played like 6-7 games, whatever it is, with RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickley. Emmanuel Quickley was 3 for 3 from 3. That's hard to say 15 times fast or whatever. But anyways, he looks pretty solid for them. He only plays 24 minutes, though. I would think they'd probably want to play him more. I'm not quite sure why all the spread minutes. Obviously, this right here is garbage time. I mean, Grady Dick came in at the end of the game. And, I mean, the Jazz just absolutely destroyed the Raptors, 145 to 113. It wasn't even close. I have to say, before we talk about the Jazz, it's got to be rough for Raptors fans to see Grady Dick and Keontae George and what they could have had in Keontae George. Holy smokes. I was so glad when Grady Dick went when he did. Look at this stat line. 0 for 3 from the field, 0 for 2. He did grab, I guess he did get 2 assists. Good for him. But man, oh man, am I glad the Utah Jazz have Keontae George instead of Grady Dick. Holy cow. That was a pick I did not want to make. All right, let's talk about this Jazz team who is just absolutely steamrolling people. In fact, I just want to do it right now. And I am never 100% sure. I know this. The nice thing about the NBA.com site is that they update the sites in pretty good regular time, whatever it is. Anyways, right now, this is the overall record, so it takes into account when the Jazz were bad. The Jazz have improved to number 22 defense, and look at this. The Jazz are now the number 20 offense. This is up from 26, so they have passed the Wizards. Look at the Lakers' offensive rating for the season. The Jazz, by the way, have now passed the Lakers in the standings, and if the season ended today, the Utah Jazz would be in the play-in tournament, would convey their pick to OKC. We did it. Hang a banner. We conveyed the pick. Utah Jazz 2023-24 season conveyed the pick to Oklahoma City. Put a banner up. I don't care. But anyways, Utah is now 12 in the lottery. They would have to win the lottery, basically, not to convey their pick. But the best thing the Jazz can do is just get out of the lottery. So there is just no question that they will not convey that pick. And you know what's really fun? If they get out of the lottery, you're going to the playoffs. So that would be nice, too. That's something I would like to see. So, anyways, this is what I wanted to talk about really fast. The Jazz season rankings have gotten better. Now, in this recent play since December 13th, how are the Jazz doing? Well, I'm glad you asked because we're going to answer the question. Look at the defensive rating. In this period, the Jazz are now number 11 and offensive rating number 11. So they're just right about there in top 10 in both. They got to get just a little better in both and they will crack that top 10. But look at who's in front of them in this period. The Clippers, who are playing out of their minds. Oklahoma City, who's amazing. Boston, number 1 team in the East. Milwaukee. The Pelicans are playing actually surprisingly well. Actually, it's interesting. Golden State Warriors are 6 in offense, but they are 29th defense. Holy cow. Indiana Pacers, offensively great. Look at their defensive rating. Oh, it got a little better, 22 for them, so that's why they're playing pretty well. And then finally Denver, and then look at that, Toronto, been pretty good since the Emmanuel Quickly and RJ Barrett. So, and I actually was a little tiny bit nervous on this one. I honestly, okay, I know we support Prize Picks, but I went to DraftKings. I wanted to just slam the over on this one. This was the most easiest money ever. I wish I was a rich man and I lived in Las Vegas because I would have put all my life savings on. No, I wouldn't have done that. But I would have put at least like $20 on the Jazz tonight. It would have been easy money. Easy money. They even lowered the line to 1.5. Come on. Let us do a little thing here and there in Utah with DraftKings. Come on, man. It's kind of fun. Anyways, impressive stuff from the Jazz now. Impressive stuff. By the way, DraftKings, you want to support the channel? I'm right here. I'm right here. Anyways, let's just talk about this Utah Jazz team. They're amazing. I wanted to give a shout out to Simone Fontecchio. He's always at the top of the list for whatever reason. 5 for 9 from the field. But look, he hit his goal 3 for 5 from 3. Remember, what's the goal for Simone Fontecchio every game? Make 2 threes. It's not take 2 threes, it's make them. And tonight he went 3 for 5. So that was nice to see. He has been slumping lately. So it was nice to see him shoot the ball well. 13 points. And then you know what? Simone is a legitimately good defender. He plays just great defense. He's physical. He moves his feet well. He's big. He's a great defender. And so Simone does a great job tonight. Impressive from him. We talk a lot about Collin Sexton. There's all sorts of stories about there of John Collins and should Walker Kessler be starting and blah, 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 and Lauri Markkanen. Simone Fontecchio has been starting during this whole period as well. And part of the reason they're doing so well is the defense. And Simone is a big part of that. So a lot of credit to him. Lauri Markkanen was amazing. Oh, thank heaven. 7 for 11 from the field. He has 22 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists. He got me my over. I bet the over on Lauri's rebounds tonight on Prize Picks, and he did well for me. 9 rebounds. Lauri Markkanen is elite rebounder. He did not even rebound all that well, nor did he even play in the 30-minute range, and he still grabs 9 rebounds. Just an elite player is Lauri Markkanen, and in fact, he's probably working his way into the All-Star game again. He is so good, and this Jazz team is so good. Is so good. John Collins had some lapses in this game. He only played 14 minutes, That's one thing is that Will Hardy is playing is playing well, and he keeps them on the floor. And if you're not playing well, he pulls you off. And it is refreshing. And it's nice. And so when John Collins is playing well, he plays more minutes. And when he's not, he sits. 4.7 rebounds, 1 assist. Although he did go 2 for 3 from the field. So, he just had some... he had 4 personal fouls. He had a couple bad plays, and he just got sat. So it is what it is, but he spreads the floor, and whatever is going on, it's working. So the Jazz are likely going to stick with this rotation for the most part and then evolve as the game goes along. If someone's playing well, they'll play more, and if not, then they sit. But this is likely the starting lineup until they make a trade or an injury or something happens. So pretty fun to see, and you know what? Honestly, it's a fun team to watch. Collin Sexton, we talk about this every game now, but his evolution as a player has been incredible, and I'm sure the Jazz are just much less likely to trade him. It's to the point now where, at the beginning of the year, I was just like, does anyone want Collin Sexton at all? To the point now where it's like, you're going to have to give 2 premier first-round picks if you want Collin Sexton, and he may not even be for sale, depending on what the Jazz want to do, because I can see Collin Sexton, the way he's playing right now, as an elite 6th man on a championship team. Honestly, when he's playing like this, look at these numbers. 5 for 10 from the field, 3 for 3 from 3, 5 assists, 2 steals. He's playing good defense. He plays his heart out no matter what's going on. And that's the thing. When the Jazz were bad earlier this year, one of the things I really appreciated about Collin is he never stops playing hard. He never stops having that competitive attitude. It's incredible. Collin Sexton is amazing. And, I have completely changed my viewpoint on him, and it's because of his play. Like we said, when this season started, the way he was playing when the Jazz were not good, it was brutal. It was not fun to watch, and I personally hated it. And now I enjoy Collin Sexton on the floor. It's like having an elite player on the basketball court. He is awesome. So just super impressive from him. And also Chris Dunn. Look at this. 3 for 4 from the field. 5 assists, 5 rebounds. Just absolutely stuffing the stat sheet. 1 steal, 2 blocks. Let's see. And 6 points. All that Chris Dunn is worried about is winning. He makes winning plays. That's all he cares about. And he goes out and he does it. And, you combine this with high-level defense. He is just impacting plays. He had that one transition play where there was a turnover from the Jazz. They're going down the court. He knocks the ball from one of the guys at half court, sticks with the play, and then blocks the ball, strips it out of bounds at the basket. He is just an absolute monster defensively, and it's fun to watch. And having him start has been one of the issues for this Jazz team when the season was going on and the Jazz weren't playing very well, at least earlier in the season, was the defensive rating. And, I love Keontae George, and I think eventually I would like to see Keontae start. But one thing you can't argue is that the Jazz defensive rating is now sitting at number 11 for this stretch. And part of that is Chris Dunn starting at point guard. It's just helping in that starting unit. So nice to see. Now, do I think the Jazz are going to win the championship this year? Well, maybe they'll screw up the rebuild and just win the title. That would be fun. But I don't think that's going to happen. And according to those trade rumors, I'll do a Utah Jazz. Well, tomorrow's a game again. The Jazz are playing the Lakers tomorrow, so I don't know if I'll have time. But there was the 2 trade rumors from the Hoop Collective yesterday and today. More or less the same thing. But today's Hoop Collective, worth it for Jazz fans to go listen to, by the way. After this show, if you want some Jazz stuff to go listen to the Hoop Collective podcast. You're welcome, Brian Windhorst. Free advertising. But anyway, at about the 30-minute mark, they talk about the Jazz. And what was interesting from what they said is that the Jazz are not changed their viewpoint on the overall view of the season and their big picture. They said they're really happy with what the Jazz are doing. They're proud of the team and the players and happy to see what they're doing. But it hasn't changed the big picture. So we will likely still see trades this trade deadline, which is a good idea. What's crazy is the Jazz could make a couple moves and still be really good. Like Taylor Hendricks is going to come on this team and he is ready to go. He comes into this game and look what he does. Knocks down 2 threes, grabs a rebound, makes an assist, makes a steal. Are you kidding? They're going to bring Taylor Hendricks on and it's only going to get better defensively, And they're likely going to try and trade John Collins. That's going to be harder to do because he has a pretty big contract and it's for a few years. They don't have to, though. But it sounds like that's the number one thing. That's not from the Hoop Collective. That's just from other reports. But anyways, Hoop Collective said that. And then they said, and we'll just talk about it now because we might as well. They mentioned that no one on the Jazz is untouchable. That includes Lauri Markkanen. Now, they don't think that Lauri Markkanen is going to get traded, or at least it's very unlikely. Unless someone brings just such a crazy offer that they would be stupid not to take it, right? That's kind of what it will take to trade Lauri Markkanen. What that entails, well, we've heard that it's 5 good picks and or young players. So basically like a Rudy Gobert package. If someone comes with a Rudy Gobert package, the Jazz are likely going to listen to it. But, Markkanen has made the comments, and I do think there was a little bit of because we had a lot of noise to start this year, especially from the local beat writers. And I don't know if they're conveying things that the Jazz want them to say, if they're kind of in on it, or if it's just things they've heard or what. Whatever it is, they're hearing it from somebody that Lauri Markkanen wants to win. And it's important for him to win games, And I'm sure the Jazz know that, and I'm sure they've talked to Markkanen and know that. But hearing it in the media sometimes hits a little different. And there's a part of me that wonders if some of these little rumors probably were a little bit of Danny Ainge saying, all right, you aren't interested in being on the Jazz long term. What do you think Donovan Mitchell feels like being in Cleveland in January? What do you think of that? Would you like that? Do you think that lake effect is fun? I can tell you, as someone who's lived in Ohio and on the East Coast, and that humidity, that lake effect is not very fun. All right? You know what's pretty nice in the winter? Utah. We have these snow squalls or whatever they are. Squalling. And it's not even that bad. Utah's nice. And guess what? They have a great front office, great head coach, winning team, great arena, great fans. The state loves basketball. You are the show. You get paid here. You're going to get a max. There's worse things than playing in Utah, getting some PTO next season when the Jazz want Cooper Flagg. So anyways, I don't think Lauri Markkanen's going to get traded. I do think, and from reports that people have made, and these are from legit guys, there's going to be some teams that try. They are going to try. So we'll see what happens. February 8th could be a crazy day. It could be a medium crazy day, or it could be kind of boring. We'll see. Jordan the GOAT best role. Member for 27 months, my man. All-star Jordan the GOAT. How does Toronto shoot 50% from three and we still win by over 30? So much fun to watch. Well, curious. Let's see. The Jazz also shot really well. They shot 48% from three, 55%. So that helped. And then I bet you it's the rebounding battle. Look at this. 68 rebounds for the Jazz compared to 36 for the Toronto Raptors. That, my friend, is probably part of it. Let's see. Offensive rebounds, 8 for the Raptors, 14 for the Jazz. 42 rebounds for the Jazz, just 23. Look at that. Rebounding, probably the rebounding was a big part of it. Lauri, John Collins, Walker Kessler, and just the Jazz in general are a good rebounding team. Justin Salas, $4.99. My friend, thank you so much. That is so generous. Thank you so much, Justin. I have gone full-blown delusional Jazz fan. We are a 6 seed minimum. That was my prediction when the season started. And there were people, and it was, I'm not going to lie, it was weird on Twitter, more weird than normal on that app. But there were people like taking laps, like they were, Jazz fans and people who cover the Jazz or whatever, just like taking victory laps because they said the Jazz would be bad. Well, first off, how fun is that? And two, it wasn't even like that great of a prediction. This Jazz team is good. I was surprised they came out and they had some stinker losses. Like the Jazz had some bad losses in that bad stretch. They did. They had some games they should have won. They also won a few that were a little bit surprising, like they got that Clippers win and stuff like that. The Jazz now I didn't think the Jazz would be this good, but I did predict on SLC Dunk that they would be 44 wins, and I thought good enough to make the playoffs, or at the very least the play-in. I think there's no reason why the Jazz can't make the 6th seed, even with trades. Like the player that keeps getting mentioned multiple times in these trade talks is Kelly Olynyk. Why? Because he's an expiring contract, and the Jazz do not want to lose him for nothing because likely someone out there is going to get him. Plus, Kelly Olynyk's shooting 43% from three right now. He is playing incredible. And so the Jazz can probably get something for him. But Kelly Olynyk, expiring contracts, and some of the vets. So I think, obviously John Collins is on the market. If someone really wants Jordan Clarkson, they can get him. But it's going to take one thing that for sure with this Utah Jazz team is that Danny Ainge sets a price or a value, whatever you want to call it. This player is worth this amount, and he sticks to it. And if you want to pay that, then you can get them. If you don't, then you won't get them. The Jazz are not going to make a trade just because. They are going to make a trade if they feel like it fits the team's big picture. And that's what Brian Windhorst, Tim McMahon, Tim Bontemps, and them were saying, is that the Jazz have a big picture plan. Now, why would they trade these guys? Why would, like Justin, I agree. This is so much more fun than losing, especially the fact that they're conveying the pick. The Jazz are just having a fun season. I hope everyone else is having fun. I'm having a blast. So why would they make a trade? Well, I think it does matter to get some minutes for Taylor Hendricks. And I do think tonight was awesome in that we saw, again, what Keontae George can do when he gets the ball. One of the things about this second unit that I don't really love, I mean, it's fine, it's working because Jordan Clarkson and Kelly Olynyk are playing great, but it's the Jordan Clarkson and Kelly Olynyk show. And so if you're trying to develop Keontae George for the future and make him kind of that offensive weapon that he definitely looks like he will be, and in a lot of times already is, but you can't really quite do that if Jordan Clarkson and Kelly Olynyk are taking on all the playmaking responsibilities. And when you're watching, you can see it. Keontae is a very unselfish player, and he just kind of defers to them a lot. But look at this, 6 assists for Keontae in 24 minutes. He is just, and this is him playing, deferring to those guys. I know the 3 wasn't really falling tonight, which stinks, but 3 for 10. He made some nice buckets inside, knocks down all his free throws, but it's the assists. The shooting will come around. I think we talked about this before, but someone made a great point. He's already played a full college season, something he didn't even do at Baylor, if you remember, because he played half the year. He also lost all that weight to get into the shape he's in. Had 1 ankle injury that I'm sure he's two foot injuries, 1 ankle, 1 foot. So he's been kind of going through it. It's hard to be an elite shooter when you're exhausted, 82 game NBA season, and you're the guy bringing the ball up every single possession. I mean, it's got to be brutal, but I think there's signs, especially tonight. These 6 assists were really nice, that he's starting to get his legs under him, you know? And once he gets those NBA legs, which is hard to come by. I mean, that first season in an NBA, especially if you're playing big time minutes, and Keontae's playing big time important minutes, it's got to be brutal. I mean, it's got to be so hard. You're just not used to what you're doing in the NBA, where college, I don't know how many games they play per week. I don't follow college that closely, but you're playing like a 35 game season or whatever it is. You're not playing 2, 3, sometime, at least 2 to 3 games a week, sometimes 4, and you're traveling overnight. I mean, these guys, they fly into a city. They will go to bed at like 4 in the morning. And when they finally get, they fly into their hotel, so like an average NBA night flying into one of these cities, especially on a back end to back to back, just brutal. You will land at the airport 2, 3 in the morning because you're leaving after a game. You will then have to drive to your hotel, wherever it is, go to sleep. It's not like you can just fall asleep. I mean, unlike you, I mean, maybe you guys have an easier time than me, but it's not always easy just like that. You're going to sleep at 4 a.m.? You have to get up and be at shoot around or practice at 9 or 10. They schedule naps for these guys. It's actually part of their day that post shoot around and things, they're like required to go take a nap, and they have those in the Jazz facility. I believe they have it in Zions Bank basketball center and stuff like that. But it's brutal to get used to that life and that schedule. It's hard. And so it's going to take some time, but I think he'll get his sea legs here soon. He will get grounded, and he's also just got to improve. It's okay for a rookie to have a rookie year and just learn what he needs to improve at. He'll have a good off season. I don't even think he's needs to do summer league. We'll see, but it's nice to see. But anyways, Walker Kessler, we mentioned it before. Walker Kessler is coming off the bench, and he's been just dominant. And he's only playing, I mean, tonight he played 14 minutes last game, 20 minutes tonight, which is amazing, because then guess what? He gets to play probably big minutes tomorrow against the Lakers, who are a big team. They will need Walker Kessler because he's going to have to guard Anthony Davis. And so it's nice that he only had to play 20 minutes tonight. In those 20 minutes, 12 points, 6 rebounds, 3 blocked shots, just awesome stuff. Walker Kessler is looking like the Walker Kessler last year that made 3rd in Rookie of the Year voting. It's just really nice to see. Let's see. Jordan Clarkson had another awesome shooting night. And we talked about Keontae and wanting to develop him, but for now, Jordan Clarkson's playing well. And if the goal is win games to convey the pick, this is working. So as frustrated as I might be, just because I want to see Keontae develop and stuff, he's still getting 24 minutes. It's fine. Jordan Clarkson is playing really well. 21 points, 5 assists. Just honestly solid play from Jordan Clarkson. That 6th man role suits him well. And this Jazz team, they go 10 deep, and all the players are playing somewhere between 20 and 30 minutes. Look at tonight. 21, 21, 24. Chris Dunn only played 17. John Collins plays 14. They're all averaging somewhere in there. So when you're on the floor, you're playing hard. So this Jazz team, you're fresh, you play hard, and then you get good rest so that when you're in, you're playing at like 100%. These I just don't know how many times we've even seen a player on the Jazz play like 40 minutes, which is not all that uncommon. Like Luka Doncic will play 42 minutes, and it's not uncommon, So anyways, nice to see. And this Jazz team is just deep, and it's fun. Ochai, we talked about Keontae George, so I don't think we have to dive into it anymore, but I want to say these assists, they're so nice. He runs that pick and roll with Walker Kessler, and it looks so dominant. Jordan the Go, Ochai had a nice game, finally. Yes, he did. So Ochai plays 21 minutes. He had a really nice first half. He had 5 rebounds. You know, there are nights where it's frustrating that the 3 ball is just not falling consistently. And so I don't know. I don't think the Jazz, if there's a team that wants to send the Jazz another athletic, I don't know. I don't want to trade Ochai Agbaji because I would much rather bet on the hyper athletic wing like Ochai, who showed that he shot the ball well in college, that he eventually gets to that level here. You know, the Jazz are in no rush to have Ochai Agbaji. They're not like the Phoenix Suns who have traded everything away and are relying on Josh Okogie to hit threes. It's not that case for the Jazz. It's okay for Ochai to figure it out. Right now it's a luxury. So, you know, Ochai plays 21 minutes tonight. He's been playing such good defense. His defense against Jamal Murray again last game against Denver was phenomenal. And he's doing the same thing. So one thing to just always appreciate about Ochai is when he plays good defense. It's almost more important in a lot of ways because his athleticism shows up in the transition and things like that. He spreads the floor. And so, anyways, I'm not too worried about it. It would be nice, though, if he just started consistently. He would get more minutes. Honestly, he would get more minutes if the 3 was falling more consistently. But he is doing a lot of these things. Look at that. 2 block shots. Should have been 3. 1 assist. That was a nice assist, by the way. And then the 5 rebounds. So he's playing really well in terms of defense. It would just be nice if he started shooting the ball well because it will keep him on the floor. Kelly Olynyk. Look at this. A double-double. 11 points. 11 points. 10 rebounds. 5 assists. I mean, if he's trying to get that triple-double, I almost wonder. But he is just such an offensive weapon for this Jazz team, for this second unit. The ball just goes through him, and he plays just so well in that offensive role. And he's rebounding the ball pretty well. As long as he's rebounding it well, he's not that much of a liability defensively if he's rebounding it. And if he's playing hard defensively, then that's all you can ask. But the things he can do at 7 foot, he is just a weapon. And it's not surprising that his percentages are so good because he has really good touch around the basket. So if anything, the biggest complaint with Olynyk is that he should shoot the ball more. I mean, 43% from 3 and he only takes 2, you know? So, and obviously makes 1. It would just be nice if he shot it a little more because he's so good at it. But that's just not his game in a lot of ways. Finally, we got to see Taylor Hendricks and Bryce Sensabaugh got his first NBA bucket. 2 for 4 for Sensabaugh, 2 for 2 for Taylor Hendricks. Perfect from the field. Really great to see. I mean, these guys, if you want to know why the Jazz might make a trade also, is so these guys can get on the floor. If Kelly Olynyk's on the floor, John Collins, all these guys, if they're on the floor, it's less likely that the coach is going to want to play Hendricks and Sensabaugh. If those guys get moved, then maybe we can start seeing them play a little bit. In all honesty, Sensabaugh brings the offense that Ochai is struggling with. You know, there's a world where Sensabaugh starts pushing Ochai for minutes. That's just the nature of the NBA. I mean, if you are not developing or improving or growing, there's a draft every year. And every year you're replenishing talent. If you're a good team, you're making your draft picks. You're not trading too many draft picks. And that's why the Jazz are going to be very good for a very long time, is because the draft is the thing. You are constantly replenishing your talent. And eventually you get a guy that hits that you didn't really expect. And I'm not saying that's who Bryce Sensabaugh is, but if he starts playing well, he might start pushing for minutes. So that's going to be an interesting little battle to watch, because if Sensabaugh comes in and he can start knocking down shots, he's been playing really well for the Stars. If he can show he can understand the defense and all these different things, that'll be a lot of fun. So anyways, who knows? And then Talen Horton-Tucker hasn't been playing, and I don't think we're going to see Talen Horton-Tucker play for the Jazz maybe ever again. He is on an expiring deal. I doubt the Jazz re-sign him. They've got too much young talent coming in. They are not going to probably worry about it. And even if the Jazz can't trade Talen Horton-Tucker, it's not a problem because he's an expiring contract. So worst case scenario, he's just on the Jazz and his contract just falls off, and the Jazz have open cap space to renegotiate with Lauri Markkanen, which I believe they can do. This is not gospel, but the Jazz can renegotiate some things with Lauri Markkanen, which they'll probably do, and then give him a max after this upcoming season. Something along those lines is what they're going to do, because I think they want to just make Lauri happy and give him some PTO next year. Maybe. We'll see. I still kind of feel like the Jazz are going to go for Cooper Flag. I mean, I just I actually think this trade deadline could be a little more interesting than people think. And if the Jazz get to February 8th, and let's just look at it. So the Jazz are 12th, and Houston, I mean, they barely beat the Detroit Pistons tonight. Let's see. Oh, we got to refresh this. Look at this. So the Utah Jazz, if the dang Houston Rockets, the Jazz would have been tied for this spot. Let's go to the Western Conference standings. Let's see. So let's just bring this up. Doggone it. Alec Burks almost did the Jazz a solid. One last assist from Alec Burks. It almost happened. They barely beat Detroit tonight. The Rockets are scuffling. I think the Jazz eventually just pass them. But look at this. They're 4-6 in their last 10. Utah is 8-2. The Jazz are at 10 in the play-in. And so there's a chance. I mean, Phoenix is looking a little better. Bradley Beal's back. They look pretty good. They beat the Lakers aren't very good right now. They just demolished the Lakers on TNT. Utah needs to beat the Lakers, by the way. How satisfying would that be? If the Jazz get to 21-22 or 21-20, that would be amazing. But man, it's tough to rise in these rankings. At this point, it's really, playoff picture is fun. But I think if the Jazz can just kind of get a solid lead on the Houston Rockets, obviously the Lakers and even the Warriors, and just create some space come February 8th, then I think they can make some trades and not feel the pinch too much. I think they really can. And I don't, it's going to be fascinating. We're going to cover all of it. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. It's going to be so interesting to see what happens at trade deadline and who's moved, who's not. And then after trade deadline, do the Jazz keep winning? It's really fun to watch the Jazz right now, though. They are really good. Really good. Jordan the GOAT, best roll, $4.99. Thank you so much. Our depth is wearing teams down. Not just winning, but blowing teams out. We're an all-star away from making a legitimate run. We really are. I mean, that's really the thing the Jazz need. I can't remember who it was talking about it, but there is like a Danny Ainge model, and what it is you need 2-star wings. That's the model. It's the Jordan model. Jordan and Scotty. It's it's Paul Pierce and Ray Allen. It's Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. And the Jazz have one in Lauri Markkanen. They need another one. And that's why I'm hoping it can be Cooper Flag. Can it be Cooper Flag? And I think Lauri Markkanen can play at an elite level for what? Another 8 years? Why not? I mean, he's only what, 27? What is Lauri Markkanen? In fact, let's look at it. I'm frustrated I don't have it memorized, but 26 years old. I mean, he's going to play till he's 36. Why can't he be on the Jazz for 10 years? And why can't the Jazz get Cooper Flag next year and then just roll? Especially if Keontae takes another step, if Taylor Hendricks, who looks like he has a chance to be really something special, why not? Why not? The quote that I really thought was interesting from Markkanen is he said, "I hope there's no one that makes the offer to the Jazz." He's hoping to stay with the Jazz. So I think next season is going to be interesting. It's about tonight, but man, what an interesting time and fun time to be a Jazz fan. They are good now, and they are going to be good for a long time. Treasure trove of assets. This year's draft sucks, and so the Jazz have planned things perfectly. And next year's draft is good, and the Jazz have 3 picks next year. So they are going to be replenishing their talent and likely making a move here and there, depending on... I honestly think what they're going to do is they're going to try to be kind of, I mean, no one's giving up Cooper Flag at number 1. I doubt it. But maybe he drops kind of like Luka Doncic did and people get worried and whatever. I mean, he looks so good to me. I wonder if the Jazz try to trade up in the draft, because that's something Danny Ainge always does. He tried to do it last draft, and it ended up being fine because Taylor Hendricks looks good. But the Jazz are likely next draft going to try to package all 3 picks to move up. And it's something that Danny always wants to do. And it's tough to have 3 first-round picks come play anyway. Like we're seeing that now. The Jazz have Taylor Hendricks, Sensabaugh, and Keontae, and only Keontae's playing. It's hard to find time to get them on the floor. And so I think the Jazz are going to make some moves to clear the deck. Not completely, because I think the Jazz do want to be good enough to convey the pick. But then next year, I think it's going to be interesting to see what the Jazz do. Can they package their picks to move up into the draft and get that guy to play next to Lauri? One thing the Jazz have done is they've done well in the draft, and that's the way the Jazz are going to win towards a championship. So, sorry, we went 35 minutes and a lot of draft talk. For a season the Jazz don't even have a pick now because they conveyed their pick, baby. Wouldn't it be so frustrating if they won the lottery in this draft? And there's no like clear number 1 guy. The Blind Swordsman DS, $2. Thank you, my friend. Thank you so much. You think we extend Kelly? I doubt it. I mean, maybe, but I do think there's a lot of teams. I think they're trading Kelly, to be honest. I think there's a lot of teams out there. Like you look at the Lakers, they have what? Look at this defensive ranking for the season. The Lakers, like the Warriors for the year, are 24th defensively. Where's it's the Lakers offense, duh. Look at their offense, 24. They have LeBron freaking James, and they're the 24th offense in the NBA. The Jazz are 4 spots better than the Lakers offensively. You think a 43% shooter that moves the ball wouldn't help out the Lakers a lot in Kelly Olynyk? Now, I don't know if they've got anything the Jazz... They do have that 2029 pick they can trade. There's a few picks they can trade. I would love a post-LeBron pick from the Lakers. I'm telling you that. That 2027 pick from the Lakers, are you kidding me? That's going to be so sweet. So sweet. So there's teams out there that could really use a player like Kelly Olynyk, just a vet who knows how to play. 43% from 3. He is just a great player. And so if you want Lauri, you're going to, or not Lauri, if you want Lauri, you're going to have to pay out the nose. But if you want Kelly Olynyk, you're going to have to pay out the toes. There's a saying. But you are going to have to pay for Kelly Olynyk if you want him. I don't know if they extend him. I guess it would just depend on the price. But I think the Jazz would probably be more interested in developing some of their young guys. I mean, the fact is Kelly Olynyk is 32. So, he's still got at least 2-3 years in him left. With the way he plays, should age well. I could see him playing till 36 even, but maybe beyond. His game's going to age well. He shoots the ball, he passes it. Probably likely going to get a contract somewhere. Because he's a good player. So, I don't know. Sorry. Long story short, sorry. I don't know. Probably not. But you never know. I think that's everything, guys. So, let's just go look at the lottery. Utah is now past the Lakers. How sweet is that? A half game up. And they play the Lakers tomorrow. Let's bring up the music. They play the Lakers tomorrow, and that's actually a big game. Like, it's playoff ramifications. So really, really fun time for the Jazz right now. And they just got to keep winning so they can pass up this Houston Rockets team. A win tomorrow has them just tied with the Rockets. So this is freaking cool. And you know what? The Suns have started turning things around. 6-4 their last 10. We'll see. But I think the Jazz are likely going to be in the play-in this year. It's going to be really fun to watch. All right. Let's see here. Should we give a shout out to our All-Stars? By the way, if you haven't already and you want to join the channel, I saw we had 2 new rookies join. Thank you for joining the channel. If you'd like to support the channel, first off, like and subscribe the video. but you can join the channel and support it and become a part of the chat. All right, let's give a shout out to our All-Stars tonight. Let's give a shout out to Dirty Jazz Car Wash Channel, Just Buckets JB, Baby Elliott Matson, Dangerous Danger FC, Christian House Money to Haas, The Outlaw Jesse James Nelson, all the Josh you need, just Josh in your pod, Ryan Perry, the legend, Asikali Raisibe, the man from down under, yes, Jake C. Can, see ya, Lexa Later, Built Ford Tough, Alexander Tufts, Jorge Arrizaga Mimigo de Abajo, Jordan the Goat Best Roll, TGD Total Game Domination, Tyson Price, The Price is Right, Austin R. Grant, Editor Extraordinaire, JC to Triple Double, formerly known as DW to CB, I almost forgot, Patrick Kubo the Connoisseur, and Robert Hall of Fame. Oh, we got another question in. Stop the music and then we'll bring it up. Another question comes in. Levon Panhorse, $4.99. Thank you, my friend. Sorry I'm late to the party. Are we the hottest team in the league more than Clippers? Well, let's look. 8-2. Technically, the Pacers are the hottest team in the NBA at 9-1 in their last 10. But Utah is 8-2. Second hottest team in the NBA. Pretty great. So thank you again, Levon. $4.99. Much appreciated. But I tell you what, we are the most attractive team. So in that way, we're the hottest, right? All right, let's see. All right, guys, like I said, like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you would like to go to Prize Picks, use promo code HoopsNerd. It would be amazing. Guys, I will talk to you next time. I did not miss Super Chats through Dirty Jazz.